This is a 1968 Ferrari 330 GTC. There's no denying the Pininfarina body design is elegant to look at, but that's only part of the experience of these capable touring machines. Let's take a closer look at chassis 11143. From the extensive Marcel Massini report, we know chassis 11143 was completed in May of 1968, in silver with a black interior, and was fitted with optional Barani wire wheels. The car was purchased directly from importer Luigi Cinetti by Sonny Stinson, the director of a funeral parlor in Detroit, Michigan. By 1970, it had quickly accrued 20,000 miles and was reported to have suffered some light front-end damage, which was repaired. Stinson sold it to his cousin in the late 70s, who had the engine rebuilt at 29,000 miles. In '81, it then sold to an owner in Sterling Heights, Michigan, and quickly changed hands to a New York owner. In the mid-1980s, it was purchased by Hugo Bergoni, the caretaker of Peter Calico's Ferrari collection. He repainted the car and had the carpets redone. It sold again to an owner in Connecticut in 1997. Then it made its way to Santa Barbara, California in 2000, and was maintained by ex-Brabham mechanic Bill Pound, who rebuilt the steering box, suspension, and transaxle. After a decade with that collector, Bruce Canepa purchased it and sold it to the current owner in May of 2011. Diving further into the paperwork, when the car arrived at Bill Pound's shop in the early 2000s, he noticed an ill-fitting radiator. It was due to the improperly installed lower radiator crossframe, which he dealt with. He also cleaned up and addressed a number of details on the underside. The heart of every Ferrari is under the hood. And in the 330 GTC, it's the 4-liter V12 that supplies the mechanical symphony experienced both inside and out. The engine compartment is as clean and tidy as it gets. For the past 11 years, it's been maintained by Patrick Otis Company. When Otis first assessed it for the current owner in 2011, he noted it was a solid, unviolated car that with some electrical investigation and hydraulic sorting would make an excellent driver. Between 2018 and 2019, Otis performed a complete engine rebuild and all related cooling and fluid systems.
On the dyno, it produced 295.2 foot-pounds of torque at 5,000 RPM and 321.7 horsepower at 6,200 RPM. The Patrick Otis Company receipts document the electrical and hydraulic sorting, regular maintenance, the extensive rebuild, and all of the work performed. Since the rebuild, it has covered approximately 3,200 miles. Let's take a look at the interior. The condition of the interior is quite good, and there are really no noticeable flaws to point out. There's no wear visible behind the seats in the luggage area or package tray. The seat upholstery is excellent. The seat backs are clean and free of marks. And the headliner is spectacular. The gauges are clean and functional.
Note the oil pressure on startup. The shift gate makes this glorious sound. And the dash pad is excellent. The door panels and door bottoms look great. The door rubber on both sides is excellent. Here's a shot of the pedals. And on the subject of rubber, all glass rubber is supple and free of cracks. And check the auction gallery for the full array of glass markings. There's some minor pitting in the windshield. This is the worst one here. And there's also this very faint scratch from a windshield wiper on the driver's side of the windshield. The only other glass imperfection is this slight scratch at the bottom edge of the passenger side wind wing. Let's put it in the air and take a look underneath. The chassis and bottom side is as well detailed and clean as the engine compartment, which is impressive given the fact that the car is actually driven. During the time of the engine rebuild, Patrick Otis & Company also addressed the suspension with rebuilt Coney dampers, springs, new spring seats, and serviced the braking system with rebuilt calipers. Let's go topside and open the trunk. The toolkit and jack are present. As is the 5th Barani spare. From a distance and up close, this is a very presentable driver, but let's get out the magnifying glass and point out a few imperfections. Running up and down the sides, it's straight and shows no dings. The largest imperfection is this bubble on the left rear fender flare. And there's a second tiny one on the driver's door. There's an irregularity here above the left taillight. There's a tiny ding on top of the left rear bumper blade. And here behind the left front bumper. There's evidence of a different style mirror. Because it's a driver, a clear shield has been applied to the nose. Despite that, there are a few small rock chips. And this small textural irregularity on the nose. And finally, there's a tiny wave, only noticeable if you're on the ground and about 2 inches away from the right front corner panel ahead of the door. Moving on to the subject of wheels and tires, the Barani wires are wrapped in Michelin XWX 205 VR14s. And also included are a set of 4 Campagnolo 10-hole alloy wheels with the correct knockoffs. Even when new, the 330 GTC was coveted as a beautiful and elegant way to cover ground quickly. And 54 years on, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better example that's ready to be used and enjoyed as Ferrari intended.